Okay, welcome back. There's been some pretty nice updates to this map here since I saw you guys last, and just want to kind of walk you through those again. I know the last video I did was kind of an update video similar to this, but the last time we left, I said the next thing we were going to do was start to build some of these buildings, and it's something that we haven't done yet, but I've been playing a lot just kind of on my own, and I haven't been recording, and I didn't want to do any major building projects without showing you. But this is one thing that I've been working on that took quite a bit of time, and it's the bud switch array, which basically is one of the coolest things I've ever seen in Minecraft, and I absolutely just had to build it. But basically what this thing does is it's really complicated, and I'm not 100% sure exactly how to explain it, but essentially what it is it's a day-night switch for redstone. And so when it's daytime here, the sunlight comes in the top here and it grows grass on these blocks below. And then what happens is basically at nighttime the moonlight will come in, the darkness will come in, and it will actually kill that grass that's down below there. And as we come down here, you'll see what happens is there's a piston system set up here with sticky pistons, and the first one of these grass blocks to die will trigger the piston, which will bring this block out, which actually will just invert the redstone signal then. And you can see these, basically the way a sticky piston will work is anytime a block updates next to it, it'll trigger that piston. And so one way to trigger an update is for grass to grow. And so when the grass dies and grows, it triggers this piston, which makes all of this go. And then we have a T flip-flop on the back here, and then we've just replicated that same thing 4 different times. And the reason that we have multiple arrays here is because the amount of time it takes for the grass to either grow or die when it turns from day to night varies a lot. It can be instantaneously, or it can be several minutes. And so whichever one of these triggers first will basically invert the signal there. And so by having 4 of them, it just ups the odds or the chances that grass block will grow or die, and it'll trigger your array. So by having 4, it just makes the system more accurate, makes it work much quicker. And so it's really just an awesome thing. And I saw this online. I'll try to put the link in the description if I remember to do that, to the video where I first saw this. And it's actually, Etho started the idea, I believe, with the bud switch. And the bud switch is the portion of this that activates the piston through the block update. And so it's kind of his design, his idea. And then other people have come along and added the T flip-flops and perfected it with the way this whole system is set up with multiple arrays here so that it works. But basically what it does is, you can see here, this redstone wire, this is our output wire, is not powered right now. And when it switches and the first piston comes out, it will invert that signal so that this will be powered. And I put a door here just for kind of demonstration purposes, so that you can see when the array switches that the door will open. And so at nighttime this door is always open, but eventually what we'll do is we'll wire this up here, and we'll have kind of a power system going into town, which will allow us to have lights come on at night and then turn off during the day. So it'll just save the need for torches. I think it'll look a lot better, and definitely the coolness factor when it turns on and off. And so it is completely functional and working right now. And then what we're going to need to do is obviously hide all this. I thought about just burying it all, but I think what I might do is actually build a room around it so that it's accessible if I ever need to show anyone how to do it, or make any updates or changes. But it actually scared the hell out of me when I was working on this. I had it almost done, and I was sitting there in the middle of it, just right down here, and a creeper dropped down on top of me, and I just freaked out. And so luckily I was able to escape before he blew up, because that would have been a ridiculous amount of work. But it's getting to be night here, so let's just check this out. Okay, so you can see we've got the door is open now. So I already missed it basically, but you can see this one piston's extended. And so that piston came out, it turned the signal and opened the door, which powered this redstone wire here. So that would power all the way up here if we wanted it to. And you'll see here as time goes on, the rest of these will come out one by one by one. And the interesting thing about it is, if you think about it right now, if we didn't have that one, it would still wouldn't be on right now. And it's pretty much dark out. Mobs would be spawning by now, potentially. And so it wouldn't be all that effective. But because we've got 4, it just increases the odds. And I've seen some people do up to 8 or 10 of them, which I think is overkill because this thing does work pretty quickly. And I think more, obviously is better, but I just think the footprint and the time and resources it takes to make that many isn't really necessary. And you can see it's taking quite a while, actually, for these other ones to pop out here. But they certainly will. And by the middle of the night here, all these will be out, and then as day breaks, they'll retract one by one, and the first one that retracts will turn off the lights. And so that's a pretty cool thing here. Of course, it's just kind of Murphy's Law that if I'm sitting here staring at the thing, it's not going to go, but if I wasn't watching it, then it would happen right away. So you can see the second one came out there, so that grass block died, and now we're all set. So let's just check, make sure there's no creepers, and then we can go ahead and get down. And then I'll show you, I just laid some basic wiring. It was one of those things where I just had a few minutes of extra time, so I decided to just log on, and I figured, what can I do that's just kind of monotonous, that's not really exciting. I just started throwing down redstone wire and getting that into town here, because here's going to be that storage building, and so I just kind of ran some wire under there. So it'll just give us access to have lights in the storage building. And then I stopped here, but obviously we'll continue this on. Really, the next big thing we're going to need to do is go to the Nether to get some lightstone, so that we can start building some redstone lamps, because those things are really cool. It was a really exciting update. And so you can see here I've got it running to my house, but not doing anything yet, because again, I don't have any redstone lamps, unfortunately. So I'll show you the other project I worked on. And the reason I didn't record these is because they just take a long time. And, like I said, I'm not really great with redstone. So a lot of it's kind of trial and error and not really knowing exactly what I'm doing. And I didn't want to sit here and have to redo things over and over. It'd be kind of boring just to see me do things and have it not work out that well. So basically what I've got is my enchanting room here. And again, it's going to be in a building that's marked by these corner blocks. And so you'll basically walk in the front door here, and we've got our enchanting room. So now you can see we only have the middle layer of bookshelves right now. And so what that'll do is it'll give us kind of a lower to mid-range enchant, so we could enchant something like this here. And then if we want more, we just go flip the switch. And so that one there brings down the top shelf of books. And so now we get a little bit higher enchants. You can see the numbers are higher. And then if we want even more, we click this bottom one and it brings a third layer of bookshelves. And so if we have a lot of levels to enchant, we can get the maximum enchants possible with that. So, most people, what they do is they just throw a bunch of torches around to try and negate the bookshelves, and then they break them all when they're done. And I just want to do something a little bit cooler. I'm sure this has been done a million times, although I haven't actually seen it on YouTube, but I'm sure it's there in a million places. And so I have it encased, so all you see is wood when it's retracted, so that it looks pretty good. And then this is just a opening up to the sky. I'll probably put like a redstone lamp or something in there to help light this room up. But yeah, so that's basically that. So there's your top shelf books, and then your bottom shelf books. And I might put redstone lamps in the middle. I just don't know how that'll affect all the redstone I've got going on for these switches. But basically, just got the redstone running underneath here. I haven't actually closed any of this up yet, but I'll do that when I actually build the building around it. And so you can see what that looks like. This will all be encased, so you won't actually see any of that stuff once the building's up. So that's kind of what it looks like. It just brings the bookshelves up. So it took a lot of sticky pistons, a lot of waiting around in my slime spawner, just waiting for slimes to get enough pistons to do all this, because that power plant over there took quite a few sticky pistons as well. And then I went and got some more wood and things like that. So we're really all set to start building. It's just going to be a matter of getting going on that. So I guess, we could start doing some of that, get a couple of these buildings up. It was really strange the other day. I was just kind of doing some mining and things around here, and I started seeing the hearts above the villagers' heads again. And I thought that we were capped, villager capped, but I'm not sure if maybe one of them had died from a mob or something like that. But they started spawning again, and there were just more babies everywhere, children running around like crazy. And the last time I counted, just a rough count, we had about 16 of these iron golems now, which is just an insane amount. And let's take a look and see if we can get into one of these buildings and just show you how crowded they get. This one's not too bad, actually, but there's villagers everywhere. And for whatever reason, they just like to get the same buildings sometimes. And, I'm not really sure why that is. But sometimes there'll be buildings that have almost nobody in them, and sometimes there'll be buildings where there's, a whole huge crowd of people just everywhere. So not too many people in there. Sometimes I can't even get into my house to try and sleep. It's just so crazy crowded. A spider, like that iron golem, will get him out of the way. He just one-shots him, throws him up in the air, no big deal. And yeah, they're pretty spread out this time. Normally they're just packed everywhere into one building, and it's not too bad today. They actually did a good job finally of getting their things going. So you'll see in this room here, I've got some more chests built. I just started running out of room again with all the different cobble and different things that we had going on. So we'll grab a bunch of this and get started. Just throw another house or two up quick. So I've got some redstone left. Actually, quite a bit of it. I've used a lot already, actually. And then this is all just junk, and then more junk up there. And I actually found underneath the power plant, there's actually one of those abandoned mine shafts, and there was just so much iron under there. It was crazy. It was just like constant iron. Which was pretty cool because, you can never have too much iron. And I'm just trying to think what else I'll need to build this house. So I've got wood out there, the doors are out there, we've got some stone here. It's probably about all we really need. So let's just go throw some of these houses up real quick and see if the villager population continues to grow. My guess is that it probably will. It just gets really annoying even trying to build too when these guys are around because they're just completely obnoxious, just getting in your way, bouncing up and down on stuff, and it's really just crazy. So we'll see here. This is going to go like this. I think it's going to go a lot easier now that I've got the corners of these houses laid out, because it just makes it really easy to see exactly where we want to go. And I apologize if you watched some of my first videos. There was kind of a lot of time wasted just trying to plan things out and decide how we wanted this to look. I kind of feel like maybe we made these houses too small. I just had, if you remember at the time when we first started building these houses, there was just a real concern that we were going to run out of villagers. I think we only had 3 at the time, and so I was worried that we were going to lose the population entirely. I had no idea that it was going to explode the way that it did, to where there's just so many of these villagers. It's just insane. So I was reading a little bit too online about it, and it sounds like once you have a certain number of doors spread out over a certain number of blocks, that the number of villagers you can get is actually infinite. And so it doesn't seem like there is any cap at all on how many villagers you can have, which is pretty cool, but also a little scary, just because I can only imagine what will happen when we get so many that the computer can't handle the lag that it will ensue once we get these guys. I forget how to do these blocks. It's been a couple of days here. There we go. Alright, so let's throw these up real quick. Alright, so where do we have the door on this side? It's just right in the middle. Is that kind of the theme on how that goes? And I think I'm just going to keep these 4 quadrants the exact same, all the way around. And then we'll do some other designs and things as we go. I'm still kind of debating whether I want to do the castle for the nether portal, or if I want to have that just throw the nether portal like down in my mine shaft, just out of the way, kind of out of sight, out of mind, because the nether portal's kind of loud and obnoxious, and I don't really want to hear that sound constantly in my home. In previous worlds that I've built, I've had the nether portal like in my basement, and all you hear when you walk in the front door is just that sound from the nether portal. So see what I mean? They're actually not as obnoxious now, but you should have seen when I was building that redstone for the enchanting. It was just absolutely nuts. Those guys were so obnoxious, just constantly jumping down in the pit and just crowding around. I actually ended up suffocating a bunch of these guys because they wouldn't stay away, and I couldn't get them out, and I didn't want to spend all day trying to get them out, because as soon as you get one out, then there's two more to take its place. Alright, so let's go back here and finish this guy up. Put a door over here. I think the one thing that I am missing are stairs. I didn't bring any stairs with me, and I haven't really made any, but I guess we can just craft those pretty quickly. I really should have jumped up here before I started placing the blocks, but inevitably I'm sure I'll fall down anyway, so it's no big deal. Okay. So down in my mine shaft, I've got a ton of diamonds. I probably have 7 to 9 areas of diamonds that I found that I haven't mined yet, that I'm just waiting to get the fortune enchant for, so I can hopefully get more of them. But when I do get that, it's just going to be just this huge windfall of diamonds, because I'll probably have just more than I need, really. I'll have all diamond tools and diamond armor, and it's going to be pretty nice. I probably should start building like a diamond pickaxes, because when I go down in the mine shaft, I go through 4 or 5 different iron picks. That's what the word I'm looking for here. And it gets to just be a little bit crazy, because you know, you take up so much inventory space with those. And even a diamond, really everything is really the way to go. And I said when I started this series that I was going to be more liberal with that stuff and actually start using diamond stuff, because typically what I do in my world is I just start collecting all these diamonds, and then I never use them because they just sit in a chest all the time, because I'm just too cheap to use them, and I don't want them to break, and I don't want to die and lose the stuff. And you know, inevitably they just sit in a chest, and I don't actually get any use out of them. So it's something I really do need to do this time around. And I said I was going to do that, but I just figured that I should wait and get the fortune enchant, which is something that I've never used in any of my worlds. I've never actually had anything good. Usually when I get an enchanting table, I only enchant the actual gear, like my swords and my bow and my armor. I've never actually done any high-level enchants on pickaxes or axes or shovels or anything like that. So, you know, I don't know if it's worth waiting for or not, but we certainly could do that, I guess. And I think it's probably going to be best, just because that'll give us enough diamonds to not have to worry about anything anymore. Alright, so we got that, and we'll just hop down and throw the door on this guy. And this is the type of house that specifically is just really small. I mean, if you look at this, it's like, what's the purpose of this? So that was probably pretty poor planning on my part. I should have made a little bit better houses, bigger houses, I guess, so that these guys could get a little bit better use of them. Because sometimes they just log jam, where they're just sitting there pounding at the door, and all you hear is the door trying to open and close over and over and over, and you've got all these guys just everywhere. And it's, you know, usually not that helpful. So I'm not sure exactly how long it's going to take either for these guys to start reproducing again now that we've got more houses. But it'll probably be pretty darn quick. And I'm sure the population's going to explode, because if you think about it, we built these 3 houses, and then we built the 2 on the other side of the world, or the village, I should say. And so we had a total of 5. And the population went from 3 to really an unknown amount. I have no idea how many villagers there are running around here. But if we have 16 iron golems, there's got to be just an absolute ton of these guys. And so that's something that, with another, let's see, we've got another 3 here, and we're going to build another 6 after that, just in this area. It's going to be absolutely insane, I think. And hopefully it doesn't lag the game, because I don't really know what to do when we reach that point where we start lagging the game out. It kind of defeats the purpose. Maybe we'll just have to populate them over a widespread area and then just kill off a certain bunch. But I think they'll just repopulate if you kill them off. So I don't know that that's even really a solution. I actually have no idea what the solution is if they keep repopulating. Because, I don't know, maybe then we just need to start taking the doors off the houses and killing them as like a combination of death and doors destruction. That might be a good way to do it. So I don't know, we'll see how that goes. I'm just still contemplating what to do, because I mean, look at this. There's not even houses over here, and there's this many guys out here. They're just like basically waiting for houses, and there are probably still a ton in the houses, which is pretty crazy. So all right, let's close the door here. And this guy's like, I'm gonna claim this house for me. We really should go up here and put a torch on the top, because we can have all these iron golems and stuff, but if people are spawning on the rooftops, that doesn't really help too much. Because then creepers and things like that will spawn up there and they'll just drop down. And it is really nice to have the house or the village as kind of a safe place to roam at night. Between the iron golems and all the torches I've got, you almost don't even need to worry whether it's day or night. You can just kind of come around and do your own thing, basically. Alright, so let's get some stairs made here for these guys. I think 6 is going to be good, because I think it makes more than 1. Yeah, it does. So that'll be quite a few, which is probably going to be enough here. And oh, one guy used this house already. And this guy's using the house. So they already like their new homes, which is good. Although I didn't really have any fear of that. I figured for sure that they would be using the houses, and it's only a matter of time before they start repopulating as well. So very interesting. Alright, so we've got another 3 houses going on here. Should probably keep some uniformity with these torches, but I don't have enough on me at the moment, so we'll just fix that later. I just want to get some up here so that people aren't spawning in where they shouldn't be. And that should do it. So we've got 3 more houses, and we've got a really good start on our power plant. Just need to get some redstone lamps, and we can have some lights, which will replace all these torches. I'm going to have to also think about the border of the city, so we can make a light border around it, just to keep things out. But I haven't exactly decided how far I want to go with it in each direction and how many houses we're going to have. So that'll probably be a much later on down the road project. And then we've got to go ahead and finish up this enchanting room and get this all enclosed. Because right now it's kind of an eyesore. Kind of an eyesore. And I didn't really know. I know you can do the vertical redstone with the torches. And I've done that in previous builds and other worlds. But I just didn't really see the need to do it, because this is all just going to be kind of a waste of space anyway that's all enclosed. So I just made it kind of a tiered. And there's a creeper right there, isn't there? Jeez. That is not good. Not good at all. So we'll ignore him for now. And I think that's going to be it for this episode, guys. So I appreciate you watching, as always. And definitely feel free to leave me comments below if there's projects you think I should work on, or things I should change, or really give me ideas for future plans, because, you know, beyond what I've already outlined for you guys, I'm really open to suggestions and don't have a ton of ideas yet. I think I'm going to make this outlined in wood, keep this stone structure here, but I haven't decided what I'm going to do for this storage facility yet, what materials I'm going to use on the outside. So we'll need to figure that out. And again, if you have any ideas or suggestions, let me know. Although it's possible by the time I see those comments, I might have already built this. So we'll see how it goes. But any comments or ideas, I definitely appreciate. And I will see you guys in the next video.